Crepe myrtles have been fixtures in the landscapes of homes in the United States since at least the 1700s. And more we're seeing crepe myrtles show up in the landscapes of urban settings as well, and it stands to reason. They're hardy, durable trees. They stand up to heat and humidity well, and they tolerate a lot of air pollution and have relatively few pests compared to a lot of other ornamental trees. But they are trees, and they do get tall, and eventually, especially in an urban setting, they start to interfere with the power lines, just like this one is doing right here. This pruning technique leads to something we call crepe murder. These plants have been cut off at about head high, leaving the wounds open to all types of fungal and insect pests. So the question is, how should a crepe myrtle be pruned correctly? Today we're going to look at how to correctly prune crepe myrtles. So crepe myrtles are being used more and more in urban landscapes, and what we see here is a line of them along this busy highway for beautification purposes. And they do need to be pruned, so let's walk up here and watch some of our local master gardeners prune these crepe myrtles. So one of the first things we want to look for when we're pruning on the inside is any branches that are rubbing, and those will be the first ones pruned out typically. That's just going to create problems later on as the tree grows and ages. So remove one of the two branches that are rubbing together, and that will help open up the inside of the trunks. What Jennifer's doing now is just trimming off any of these smaller limbs that the tree will put energy to in the springtime, but we're more interested in the tree growing upright and out and forming a nice canopy. So a lot of these little limbs on the inside are going to get taken out. You want to keep in mind the 4 Ds of pruning: diseased, damaged, decay, and dead. And those are the branches you're going to cut out first. This is last year's fruit and seed crop, and if we look at these capsules that are, just about all of them are completely open, we might still find some of last year's seeds. Well, they're not going to serve us any purpose for this year, so we want to remove these off of the tree. With an older crepe myrtle like this specimen, we're going to start with removing the suckers from around the base of it, because they won't do anything but zap energy from the main trunks that we want to grow into the tree. And now some of the final cuts you want to make on a more mature crepe myrtle are going to happen at the top. Maybe take the first 6 or 8 inches off of the very top, and you're good to go. So now you have some basic tips for how to prune crepe myrtles correctly and not committing crepe murder. For State by State Gardening, I'm Kerry Hefner.